The Germanic influence has always been present in all Romance languages, directly or indirectly throughout the centuries, and the Spanish language is no exception. Stay to watch this video that will show you 10 words that come from German, which you probably use quite often in Spanish and possibly didn't know it. Number 1, accordion. The accordion is a popular wind musical instrument. It is made up of a bellows and 2 boxes at its ends with keys that are played by opening and closing the bellows and pressing the different keys that produce the musical sound. The word accordion came into Spanish through the French word accordion, which has been recorded in that language at least since 1833. And this borrowed word comes from the German accordion, referring to the German word accord, which means musical chord. The accordion was named and patented by the Austrian musician Cyril de Mian in 1829, and since then it has been part of the musical folklore of many countries around the world. Number 2, white. This color, considered achromatic or colorless, with maximum brightness and no darkness, is actually the perception of the reflection of light, made up of all the wavelengths of the visible spectrum. White is the characteristic color of snow and is present in many forms in nature, such as the plumage of certain birds or the fur of Arctic wildlife. Its origin goes back to the Germanic color or directly to Old High German blanc, which means bright. This word spread very successfully throughout most Romance languages during the Middle Ages, and it is reflected as blanc in French, bianco in Italian, or branco in Portuguese, replacing the Latin word albus, of which there are still traces today in words like albino or album. Number 3, toast. The Dictionary of the Royal Spanish Academy defines this term as the act of toasting with wine or alcohol, but the word brindar is actually derived from the same word brindis, and the latter refers to that moment when a few words are dedicated or a gesture is made just before drinking a glass of wine or liquor in any social gathering. The word brindis comes from the old German phrase Ich bringe das, which means I bring this to you or I offer this to you. And it was said precisely before sharing a drink at a gathering. And it is believed that it came into Spanish through Italian, where the expression brindisi originated. So let's make a toast to the next. Number 4, quartz. Quartz is a mineral with high hardness and resistance, composed of silica, and it is one of the most common minerals on the Earth's surface. Some varieties, such as amethyst or citrine, stand out for their beauty and can often be worked as gemstones. They are also known as energy channelers, among those who believe in their energetic properties, which are more associated with the New Age movement. In any case, the word quartz comes directly from the German Quart, which quickly spread to almost all Indo-European languages, and our language couldn't be left out. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified about new videos. Goodbye. Number 5, skirt. This common garment has been around since ancient times for both men and women, but it has evolved over the centuries, as well as its use in different cultures. For example, they are part of traditional men's fashion in countries like Scotland. However, the term falda seems to have reached us through the lingua francas of the Middle Ages, which derived from Old High German folden, meaning to fold, most likely because they used to fold their cloaks at the waist during hot weather, like a skirt. This is the same root as the English word fold and the German falten, which means to fold. Number 6. Fresh. This adjective describes something moderately cold or that simply does not produce heat, but it also denotes something recent or just made, like when we say fresh news or fresh bread, among other meanings. To find the origin of this word, we have to go back to the beginning of the 12th century, when medieval Castilian absorbed the word from Old High German frusk, which means new, young, or agile. This root still persists in modern German as frush or in English as fresh. Number 7. Glove. Whether you like boxing, going to the gym, riding a motorcycle, work in healthcare, or operate heavy or dangerous machinery, you'll be familiar with the word glove, and it refers to the garment used to cover or protect the hand, usually with a sleeve for each finger, although it's not necessarily possible that the word guante has been adapted into Spanish. From the Catalan guen, which in turn probably comes from the French gant, and the latter from the Frankish Germanic wand, derived from the Low German wand. Whatever its origin, as the old saying goes, if the glove fits, wear it. Number 8. Guerra? Once again, a Germanism took over most of the Romance languages. And this is the case with Guerra, which is defined as a disagreement or a break in peace between two parties, whether they are nations, parties, or groups of any kind. The origin of this word is found in Old High German, in the term wera, which meant quarrel or anger, and which gave rise to the word in English, wirum in German, and which would pass into French as guerre, into Italian as wera, which shares this same word with Portuguese guerra and Spanish guerra, to the detriment of the Latin word. Bellum, which until then had been used in vulgar Latin to refer to war, and which survives in words like bellicose or belligerent. Number 9. To steal. To steal is currently defined as the act of taking something that belongs to someone else, either violently or in a subtle and hidden way. However, the act of stealing, specifically with violence, was known to the ancient Germans by the verb Raubung, which literally translated as to strip away once the crime was committed against the enemy. They would collect the loot, which was called Rauper, and it usually consisted of the victim's few belongings, which was mainly their clothing. And from here, the Spanish word for clothing, ropa, also has its origin in this root. It's worth noting that in modern German this verb still exists, having evolved into rauben. Bonus word, kinder. The word kinder, which is widely used especially in American countries, is the short form of kindergarten, which literally translates from modern German as children's garden. And that's because kind in German means child, from the same root as the English word kind. The kindergarten is nothing more than an establishment for preschool-age children, which usually comes before the first grade of primary education. Number 10. Waltz. Finally, we have the word waltz, which defines a ceremonial and elegant dance of German origin with rhythmic rotating movements and continuous motion. And today, it is almost an obligatory tradition in the celebrations of girls' 15th birthdays, especially in Latin American countries, celebrating the transition from girl to woman, or at least symbolically. It entered Spanish through the French word vals, and this comes from the German Balzer, referring to the dance invented in Vienna in 1776, whose name comes from the verb balzen, which means to spin around, which more or less is basically what this dance is all about. And that's all for today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to this channel. I also invite you to turn on the notification bell so you get reminded when there's a new video. See you soon.